Welcome to Daily Devotion with Ken Gurley. Devotions designed to inspire you on your daily walk with God. Here's your host, Ken Gurley.
Hey, good Thursday morning to all of you, our Daily Devotion family. I'm so happy that you are here and that you have devoted yourself. We used to use a phrase on this called the devotees. Anybody remember that? The devotees. Yes. I'm glad you devoted yourself to taking a moment and just being a part of a gang that gets together, touch base with one another, prays for one another, and just lifts up each other through this thing that we call life. I pray the blessings of the Lord upon each and every one of you today. What a great subject. Bring back the front porch. While I was waiting on this just to begin this morning and everyone to start joining in, I was just looking at this porch that you see, and I started thinking about Uncle Herschel. Of course, Uncle Herschel. Boy, Uncle Herschel, he stirred up some trouble this past summer. Of course, you know who Uncle Herschel is. He's that gentleman on Cracker Barrel's sign that they removed old Uncle Herschel. And I'm telling you, it didn't go well. Bring back the front porch. Bring back Uncle Herschel. That's it. And they did. They did. Because I can't just tell you something about our nation. Our nation is hungry, lonesome for the front porch. I want to see old Uncle Herschel sitting out there by the, I guess I would say pickle barrel, but it's called Cracker Barrel. So I guess the Cracker Barrel, there is a desire for a front porch generation. And I hope that's what this is. Each and every day, we just come out on the front porch and encourage one another and see some good things happen. Bring back the front porch. I'll never forget my first trips to Starbucks. Now, you just say, well, that's that overpriced, all that stuff and everything. My first trip to Starbucks was revelatory. I had preached a 7-day meeting. And I was tired. Very tired. I walked into the airport, and when I walked in, my olfactory senses, boy, that's a big phrase for daily devotion this early. As you can tell, I've been up early writing, or otherwise I wouldn't use that big of a phrase. My olfactory senses, my nostrils were assaulted with the smell of coffee brewing, deep, rich. That smell alone was enough to wake me up, and I walked across the airport lobby and straight into this coffee shop. It had some funny looking logo, and I just stepped in. I expected sort of the snooty snarly, yeah, the snooty snarly, uppity attitude of artisan coffee shops. You know, the attitude that says, I'm not really here to serve you. It's a privilege that you walked into this shop. But my expectations were wrong. I found that at Starbucks, I wasn't coming for a cup of coffee. I was coming for an experience. What Starbucks did at its outset was to catch a wave in America. It's called the third place phenomena. That people have a first place, a home. They have a second place, work. And they need a third place where they meet with friends and talk. Now, I just want to tell you that I believe that's where the people of faith come in. But anyway, I'll stay with this vein, the third place. And I can tell you when I'm away from home on the road, I'll stop a lot at Starbucks. And I do the same when I'm overseas because they're everywhere. Of course, now we have First Cup. Pearland, the Woodlands, Richmond, and so I'll stop there. In fact, they have me a little office in Pearland. If you ever come to see me in Pearland, you'll probably find me at First Cup down the street from First Church, where they have me in a little office back in the roasting room. Now, it's glass. I can look out and see out, and I can wave at people. But that's usually where I'm hanging out, working, if I'm in Pearland or in the conference room there. I just love the smell of caffeine. Yeah. Did they make caffeine, coffee-flavored cologne? Yeah, I'm off track. But anyway, I will go there. I will just hang out. I'll get a lot of work done. I can tune out the noise around me. It was in motion last week. I shared the need for a table. The Bible says the early church broke bread from house to house. They were in the temple praising God. They were in their homes breaking bread. And here's how it reads, Acts 2:46. So continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house. They ate their food with gladness, simplicity of heart, praising God, having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily, such as those who are being saved. On several of my visits to Starbucks, I've come across small signs advertising job opportunities. It reads, create community, make a difference in someone's day. This whole idea of crafting community made Starbucks into a worldwide entity and not just a local coffee shop in Seattle. When its founder, Howard Schultz, was asked the question of himself and of his leadership team, why not create community gathering places like the great coffee houses of Italy in the United States? Could the old world meet the new world? If it succeeded, it would have been a marketing genius, and it succeeded. More than selling coffee, Starbucks created community. People go to Starbucks to feel connected. Community. And I know you Louisiana people, when I say community in context of Starbucks and coffee, I know what you're thinking of. You're not thinking of Starbucks coffee. You're thinking of community coffee. Some of you, God help you, are even thinking of chicory roast. Heaven help us. You are just a glutton for punishment. I think we need prayer. We need prayer right now. My mom and dad built a home for his parents in East Texas. It was a special place, probably the first house they had ever lived in that had a foundation. Probably the first house that had been owned and not just rented or tenant farmed. I'll never forget as a kid when we would go up there. Grandma and Grandpa would always be seated on the front porch, waving at everybody that went by. I've been thinking about that a lot. We need that front porch back in our lives. You say, well, I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. I don't have time. But it was a wave at a passerby was an indication. I see you, and I just want to let you know I'm still here. In fact, that's why scientists say that birds sing so early in the morning. It's just to let their mates know, I made it through the night. I'm still here. We need that back. We need that attitude back. I want to talk to you about it today, if you just give me a moment. But as you know, all of this month, we are emphasizing this daily devotion family. I have shared with you that I'm having to pull the trigger on a lot of new equipment. And that equipment is incredibly costly. But for me, I'm to the place of my life. I'm no busier, I think, than any other human being. But if I could combine three things, daily devotions, radio broadcasts, podcasts, into one room, one space at one time, it would save me hours and hours every week, and it would save me a lot of energy, and I could devote myself elsewhere. And that's where we're at. To get the quality level that we need equipment and to pull everything together. So we're raising money for daily devotion. This doesn't go to me. It goes to the equipment, and that's needed to make this happen. And one of the things is just simple. It's simple. How's this? Just blackout drapes over the windows. I love my windows next to me. When I'm normally doing this from home, I can look out over the lake, and I just love it. But it messes with everything. And that's one of the first things that have to be done. Then a lot of camera equipment. If you would like to help us, let me do this. Yesterday, they brought me a bunch of books, and I signed them. We're giving away the book Blessed, because I want you to be blessed. And if you'll make any donation of any size, if you can't afford much, that's great. If you can afford a lot, but you say, I'm going to give a little bit to see if my conscience appeases me, shame on you. But we would appreciate it. This would help. This is a QR code. It links to our giving account. This is under the Second Chance Network. Some of you will ask, where is it headquartered? Actually, it's headquartered right in our home, but I think the legal address is in Lakeway, Texas. And but if you could scan this QR code, we will send you the book post haste. How do we know where to send it to? Because when you get the receipt, you're going to reply to the email address below, Daniel's email address. Send him your physical address, or whoever you would like this book sent to. We can send it there. Thank you for that. I'll throw this up at the end as well. Let's get back to the front porch. Everybody's different, and yet we're all the same. You got people with different temperaments. I mean, you remember the melancholy, those introvert, melancholy people. Melancholy. I think that's what you call a dog that likes cantaloupe. I've been up way too long already today. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm melancholy. Melancholy, choleric, phlegmatic, sanguine personalities. We've got people with different ambitions, likes, dislikes. Some people just love being around people. Others, no, they don't. Some people like loud, boisterous settings. Others like quiet and somber settings. We're all different, but in many ways we're the same. We each have things we passionately care about. Each of us gifted differently. Each of us, hey, quit making fun of my melancholy joke. So I don't appreciate that. This humor doesn't get any better, folks. It only goes downhill. Oh, I'm like my dad in this regard. When I get tired, I get silly. Okay, wow. Okay, all right. Let me just try to marshal my thoughts. Herd these cats. We're all different. Each of us has different gifts, abilities, fears, challenge, but we're alike in this way. We're better together. We need community. And our culture is just de-emphasizing community. People are less connected than they ever were. At one time, people grew up in a community. Even in places like New York City, I've talked to people that were raised in one of the 5 boroughs, and pretty much everything they needed was on the block or surrounding blocks for where they were raised, and they got to know everybody. They knew everyone knew them. Even in large cities, there was a sense of community because within a few blocks, there was a grocery store, a baker, a butcher, a bodega that you'd stop at, grab a bottle of water. Yet America's on the move, and people are constantly being lifted from their roots. It's always a delight to see U-Haul's annual report, to see where people are moving from and to in the United States. One way to look at our world is through the front porch, back porch phenomena. In years gone by, the front porch was where people met the neighbors. Scott Cook said the front porch existed as a zone between the public and the private, an area that could be shared between the sanctity of the home and the community outside. It was an area of interaction with the community where it could all take place. The 21st century has no front porch. Bigger back porches, bigger sundags, bigger backyard vacation retreats, but fewer front porches. I mean, let's face it, after a long, hard day, you get home, the last thing you want to do is see more people, talk to more people. Your goal is to avoid people at that place. And oh, how it costs us. Because people are lonely, surrounded by people everywhere, but all alone. Gallup polls said that Americans are the loneliest people on planet Earth. Tessie, I know you're driving this morning. What are you doing messaging daily devotion? You had better be. You had better be sitting at a stop sign pulled over. All right. I got my eyes on you, Tessie. I'm watching. I am watching right now. Our flight from the front porch to the back porch has cost us community. Let me give you 3 reasons we need true community, friendships, relationships. God made us for each other. Starbucks has a saying, we are not in the coffee business to serve people. We are in the people business to serve coffee. That's right. That's right. We are made for each other. We read in the creation account in Genesis 1 and chapter 2 of how God always exceeded expectations. 6 days he created the world, creatures to inhabit the world. 6 times we read God saw it was good, from light to livestock. His assessment's always same, it's good. He's pleased. Then on the 6th day, he created a human, Adam, and said it was very good. Then the unexpected happened. God says it's not good. What's not good? It's not good for man to dwell alone. Now, I know there's seasons in our lives we're not around people as much as others. I'm in one of those right now as a writer, a minister. I get to enjoy the lonely craft of finding words to write or to speak. And maybe you have a similar calling vocation. But by and large, when those seasons are over, I'm ready to get out from under that. Augustine once said that within each person is a God-shaped void that only he can fill. And I would also add that there is a human-shaped void that God himself chooses not to fill. He created us for each other. We need community. Here's the second truth I would say. Without meaningful relationships, life breaks down. Breaks down in 4 ways. First, we lose perspective. Solomon said, woe to the man who falls when he is alone. He has no one to help him. It's easy to lose our way. We get wrapped up in our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own cycling downward, our spiraling out of control. Sheep are rarely attacked in herds. They are attacked when they get isolated from the flock. Herds. Well, I don't know. It's a flock. But we call it sheep herding, shepherd. I don't know. This really troubles me. This English language troubles me. The second way we break down. First, we break down. We break down when we lose perspective. We break down and we grow afraid of relationships. Someone who's been disappointed, burnt, stabbed in the back, isolates themselves, grow distrustful of other people. No one to comfort, no one to encourage. Third thing, we get selfish. You remember the story of Paul's conversion. He preached in Damascus, and what was obvious then at his first preaching engagement is this boy is going to start riots everywhere he goes. Unnamed disciples in Damascus lowered the future apostle to the Gentiles over the walls in a basket where he could escape. How could they have known? And that basket was half the New Testament. How could they have known this was the apostle that would do more to reach the world than any other. You cut off the basket in your lives. You cut off the possibility of influencing others in the next generation. You get in a hands-off, isolated, self-absorbed, unaccountable mode. Hebrews 10:25 says we should encourage one another as we see that day approach. If you really believe we're living in the last days, then we need to encourage one another. Bring back the front porch. Bring back community. The fourth way we break down with the loss of community is we get sick. John Ortberg is one of my favorite writers. But there's no title to any book that he's written that I enjoyed more than this one book. You ready? You braced for this? I love the title of this book. The title of this book is Everybody's Normal Until You Get to Know Them. Just love that. I love that. He cites a study in the book of 7,000 people who were examined in a longitudinal study over 9 years. And here's what was found. Researchers found that the most isolated people were 3 times more likely to die than those who had strong relational connections. People who had bad health habits but strong social ties lived significantly longer than people who had great health habits but were isolated. In other words, let me... Oh, I love this sentence. Ortberg says, it's better to eat Twinkies with good friends than to eat broccoli alone. Some of you are just cheering. You're saying, yes, this is what I need. I'm going to get some of those Little Debbie cupcakes right now. That's it. I'm stopping by Krispy Kreme. I mean, as long as you do it with friends. I mean, that's what Ortberg said. The Christian life is all about relationships. Your walk with God is not just a responsibility. It doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It happens in godly fellowship. John 17, just before crucifixion, Jesus, praying for his disciples, said, Lord, they all may be one. That this is the family of God. The people you're with. These people that are gathered around. They may not share your last name, but they could share the family name, the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. That's why we call each other brother and sister. We're family of God. And what are the benefits of such community? Well, let me give you 4. First, you find a place to belong. That you're expected to be somewhere. You're welcome there. I can promise you it's happened here on Daily Devotion Family. When people don't see others interacting that have interacted long, they begin to reach out and Facebook message or somehow get a hold of them. God loved us. We love one another. We have a place to belong. Second, we help each other grow. Paul in Ephesians 4 says that we grow and are built up in love. I mean, one charcoal briquette does not a barbecue make. That's profound. It takes a stack of charcoal. And you grow as you share. You grow and you glow as you share lives with others. Here's the third benefit. Together we simply can do more. We can impact the world. That's right. When you share this, when you touch someone, I can't tell you how many people over the years have come up to me and said, I was at a low moment in my life and someone shared your devotion with me, and that's how I became a Daily Devotion subscriber and member. Because someone shared something that just meant something particularly. I'll tell you this, if a group like this gets under the burden of lost friends and lost loved ones, there's no telling what could happen. Number 4, we find the strength we need for the storms of life. Everybody goes through storms. Sometimes it's difficult to hang in there. Paul commanded the church of Thessalonica, comfort and encourage one another. That's why we're here, to comfort and encourage one another. Henry Cloud another one of my favorite authors, said that God created us with a hunger for relationship with Him, with our fellow people. At the core of our existence, we're relational beings. The soul can't prosper without being connected to others. Writer of Hebrews said, let brotherly love continue. Don't be forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. Remember those, by the way, they're in prison. Remember those who are suffering adversity, because you're all part of the same body. You got to show hospitality. Let me start wrapping this up. I want to give you 7 truths taught by Jesus that we can reflect upon in the parable of the Good Samaritan. I'm not going to go through the parable. First, our world is filled with hurting people. You remember how Jesus described his ministry. The Spirit of the Lord's on me, anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, heal brokenhearted, preach deliverance to captives, preach deliverance to the blind, set at liberty them that are bruised. Poor, brokenhearted, captive, blind, bruised. A mother once begged a wise teacher to raise her only child from death. And the wise teacher said, if you'll bring me a mustard seed from a house that has never known sorrow, that miracle can happen. She knocked on door after door after door, determined to find a home that had no sorrow. But each and every family told her their story of loss, and by sundown she returned with no mustard seed, but with new eyes. She learned what we all must learn. There is no house without sorrow. None. None. Number 2, we're never too busy to help someone in need. The Good Samaritan did that. Number 3, most unbelievers are looking for relief, not the truth. That's what Jesus taught us. He approached the multitudes with relief, help, healing, deliverance. Number 4, there's no method, no program, no technology that can make up for a lack of love. You remember what Jesus said about the Pharisees? Woe to you Pharisees. You'll travel around the world to make one convert to your loveless religion. No method can take the place of love. Number 5, a church will never grow beyond its capacity to meet needs. And we do that in community. We do that around tables. Number 6, we can't expect unbelievers to act like believers until they are believers. And number 7, we can accept unbelievers without approving of their lifestyle. Radical. If you want your soul to prosper, we need to bring back the front porch. We need to lock arms with our community, our friends, our relatives, our enemies, believers, unbelievers, to see life change happen. What a day. What a day. Oh, daily devotion. Like, follow Facebook, share, subscribe, X and YouTube. And if you're just joining us, this is the month. We hadn't done this in 2 years. We need to raise money for equipment to do this daily devotion. This has been going on 6 years, and we've got to do some consolidating and purchasing and refurbishing and remaking. So thank you for anything you can do. If you'll use this QR code and give, we will send you a signed book, Blessed. And the way you get the book, you give, you'll get a receipt. At the bottom of the receipt is an address for Daniel, email address. Send him your street address, your physical address, and we'll get it to you. You guys are making a difference. Thank you, every one of you that has already given. And I appreciate it very much. I'll leave this up as we sign off. May the Lord be with you. I went a little long this morning. It was that tremendous humor this morning that just, God. That was a low point on daily devotion. Thank you for being a part of us. God bless. Go have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for sharing in daily devotion with Ken Gurley. We pray this ministry has been a source of encouragement and strength to you. Please be mindful that your financial support enables us to meet with you each day. To give a donation or connect with us, visit our website at kengurley.com. There you will also find the latest books, podcasts, and resources. Blessed 90 Days to Change Your World is Pastor Gurley's latest book. You can get your copy of this life-changing book at kengurley.com. May God's favor rest on you in every way until we meet again.